brothers and sisters, it's Sunday afternoon at the Granite Curling Club, and the Church of the Bent Elbow is in session. Today we'll be discussing the divine and holy benefits of proper body positioning when throwing a curling rock. Let's begin the sermon.
Okay, so first things first, proper hat positioning. When you come down, you want your rock as close as is comfortable. I generally have the rock so close that it's underneath my knee. Now, an important thing here is to think about where my hips are relative to my shoulders. At this point, my shoulders are in front of my hips, and we want to keep it that way. Now, what's very important about the curling slide is engaging your low core muscles. Everything from your belly button below, you want to have engaged as soon as you sink down into the hat. So when you sink down into the hat, your lower core should be engaged.
So, in order to have a bent elbow when we release, we need to have our shoulders in front of our hips. What you see happens a lot of times is people, when they slide out, they have their hips and their shoulders on the same plane. And what that does is that in order to get the rock in front of your foot, you have to stretch out your hand as far as you can. So in order to prevent that, we want to start our entire delivery out with our hips behind our shoulders. When our hips are behind our shoulders, what that does is it gives us space to bend our elbow. So, as you can see, my hips are scooped up, my shoulders are in front, and I'm just going to push forward. Okay, so same thing from a different angle. My shoulders are in front of my hips, and what that allows, when I slide out, because my shoulders are in front of my hips, that allows me to have a bend in my elbow. And what that allows me to do is, instead of, if my hips are flat, then I have to stretch out in order to get that rock in front of me. But if my shoulders are in front, it gives me space to bend my elbow. So, by comparison, I'm going to slide out with my hips flat. As you can see, I don't have any more leverage to push this stone. So, same thing, shoulders in front of my hips scooped back, elbow bent. You see, I have a lot of lever action that I can push with. So you might ask yourself, why is this important? Why does having a bent elbow matter? And there's a lot of reasons. The first important reason is that it gives you a little bit extra so you can push with. You never want to slide 100% of where you need to be and then just let it go. You always want to slide a little bit under and then have a little bit of flexibility in how hard you release it. And so why is this important? Why is having a bent elbow when you release a curling rock important? Well, let's use baking as an analogy. If you're making a batch of cookies, you can always add a little bit more flour. You can always add a little bit more sugar. You can always put the cookies back in for an extra 5 minutes, but you can't take away those things. And curling rock is the same way. You can always slide a little bit lighter and then add momentum with that bent elbow, but you can't slide out and then pull back. And so why that's important is because the one thing that you absolutely must not do when you're throwing a curling stone is slide out really hard and then try to pull the rock back and take momentum off. That's absolutely the worst thing you can do. If you're sliding too hard and you think that you've overthrown it, throw it with your regular release and live with the results. Because when you pull back, you're making it a guessing game for your entire team on how much you just pulled back. There's no way to regulate this. So, I'm going to throw with my hips flat and my arms straight, and then I'm going to throw with my hips, with my elbow bent. So my hips are flat. that, it's almost difficult to do it that way because it's not engaging any of the muscles you want to be engaging. It makes you lean a lot on your stabilizer, and it doesn't give you very much feel for when you're letting go. It's basically like trying to reach the very top of something on a high shelf. So, now we're going to throw it with a bent elbow, shoulders over the hips. Now you can see I have a lot of arm action, so I can throw it heavy like that. Heavy like that, I can throw it half of that, or I can throw it a quarter like that. I have more ability to control my throw. And that's the most important thing about what the benefit of the bent elbow adds, is it gives you that control to add a little bit, to add a lot. Whereas if you have a straight elbow, you really can only add the uniform amount. So to review everybody, things to keep in mind with this video is, first off, you want to have your shoulders in front of your hips. The second thing is when you move your hips back, you want to scoop them up while keeping your core engaged. When you push out, you want to push out under what you think you need to throw the rock and add the remainder with your release. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching the video. I hope it helps you out. Feel free to, if you have any comments or questions, feel free to comment below. And please feel free to share this video with your friends. And also be sure to go to facebook.com/goodguycurling and give us a follow. Have a wonderful rest of your day.